what to do. Although I'm so tired, my mind is set on you. Hey, welcome back, and thanks for joining me again for this Talking Tuesday. Today, if I don't get completely dumped on by the sky, we're going to talk about sleep. Now, I was reading an article this morning about why women need sleep. And it went into, how it actually impacts, they call it beauty sleep, but it actually does help skin and that kind of thing. And we know that sleep is important. They were saying that at our age, you should get between 7 and 9 hours of sleep a night. Your mileage may vary. Now, when I was in the Army, I realized how important sleep was because there were times when, I had been up for a very long time, either by duty requirements or chemical induction. And after a while, you get to the point where you would hallucinate. Now, I don't mean like, Pink Floyd, seeing the walls breathe and that kind of thing. But I mean just seeing things out of the corner of your eye and then turning and there's nothing there, that kind of thing. And of course, I had my wits about me, so I knew I was hallucinating because I wasn't getting enough sleep. So I'm very aware how important sleep is. Of course, this article went into talking about how, it impacts your concentration. They've known for a while that it impacts you physiologically. It makes changes in your cardiovascular system. You don't get a chance to really heal up or refresh like you're supposed to. Muscles obviously regenerate better when you're sleeping. And of course, there's the mental aspect. If you don't... This guy would get off the phone. And of course, there's the mental aspect. If you don't get enough hours of REM sleep a night, I think you go crazy and it kills you. So sleep is very important. Of course, any diet program that's worth its salt will tell you, you got to get enough sleep. If we don't get enough sleep, we feel exhausted. And that exhaustion will lead us to eat calories we don't really need. We're just tired and exhausted because we don't sleep well enough. Now, this article was going into ways to sleep better. Of course, they pointed out things like don't drink caffeine or coffee or anything, any kind of energy drinks right before bed, which I would think would go without saying. One of the things it recommended was reading a book before you actually go to sleep. And I think there's a business in the idea of writing books specifically tailored to put people to sleep. Sleep medicine in the library form. One thing they recommended was not to watch TV for an hour before you go to sleep. Now, I'm not a big advocate of TV in the bedroom, although I have one. And I know for me that I will go in and start watching a show, and I will watch it until I cannot hold my eyes open any longer, and I'll fall asleep. And then I'll wake up, realize that I slept, back the program up, and hit it again. Now, usually when I've done this 3-4 times, I'll call it a night, shut the TV off, go to bed. Now, whether I watch TV or not, I usually go to sleep 30 seconds after my head hits the pillow. I have no problems going to sleep most nights. Now, if I've got a lot on my mind or I'm stressed out, really stressed out over something, yeah, maybe. But for the most part, I'm out. And I dream a lot. I actually remember a lot of my dreams, at least for a short time before I wake up. And some of them I remember longer. I've woken myself up laughing before. Apparently, I think I'm very funny. I kind of dig it. You're sleeping and you get to see people that you haven't seen for a very long time because they're gone or what have you. You can kind of dream your own closure. Your mind working things out. But back to sleep. So, my wife, I was going to send this article to my wife because I'm always impressing on her. You got to get enough sleep. You got to get enough sleep. Her sleep habits are pretty terrible. But they found out that sleep is very important even for your cardiovascular health. So since we both kind of tend towards high blood pressure, I want her to take care of herself. I don't want to break in another one. It's too much work. I've got this one pretty much the way I want her. I don't want to go through that whole training thing again. It's taken me a while to get this one just right. So I want to keep her as long as I can. Now, I didn't send her this article really because it didn't look particularly scientific. It kind of looked like a compilation of a lot of people's other articles. But it's all stuff that we kind of already know. And it'll be interesting in 50 years or so when they look back and they start talking about sleep, and they talk about it like smoking cigarettes or, irradiated water or some of the other crazy things we've done in our history. And they're like, I can't believe that 50 years ago they didn't realize how important sleep was. And they were all walking around like a bunch of mindless zombies. Now, I know there's a lot of people, and I kind of have that tendency that think, well, you can sleep when you're dead. The problem with that is a lack of sleep hinders you so badly now that it's kind of a balance. Yes, I can sleep when I'm dead and have this very awake life, but I'm walking around with no concentration and no, what's that other thing? Short-term memory. Another casualty of not getting enough sleep. Now, thanks for getting out of the way. I felt a raindrop. That ain't cool. So I tried to use electronics to make sure I got 8 hours. I set my clock, my phone to tell me when it was time to go to bed, or 20 minutes before. And of course my alarm wakes me up. Yeah, it's starting to rain. And I found that as soon as I set those alarms, I absolutely didn't get 8 hours. Usually I get 7, maybe a little bit more. Bad nights I get a little bit less. But I still could use some more, I know that. Yeah, it's starting to rain. So what about you? Do you get enough sleep? Do you want to sleep more? Are you one of those people that says you can sleep when you're dead? Oh, I get it. I absolutely get it. Ouch. I get it. Why are you hitting your brake? Don't hit your brake. Hit your gas. I'd like to get home before it rains. Thanks. Oh, that's a dark cloud. Let me know what you think below. Is sleep overrated? You wish you had more? If sleep was money? I don't know. Whatever. However you want to look at it. I want to listen. Thank you again for joining me. I appreciate you making it. I've got just over a week before I head out to Cleveland. And so help me, this hurricane messes me up, and I am going to be not happy. Really, truly not happy. Man, people drive really bad. And it's bad enough, but when professional drivers do it, people who drive for a living, and they drive bad, oh man, there's no excuse. It's like a cop not being able to use handcuffs. There's just no excuse. Like a stripper who can't use a pole. Come on, people, we gotta go. I'm getting wet back here. So I'm looking forward to, oh man, I didn't leave that. So I'm really looking forward to the Cleveland run. Because, I'm looking forward to it. And there's a very special McDonald's I want to stop by that has a story of its own. Oh yeah, now it's starting. Look, I gave you hand signals. You should know that I'm turning. Car. There you go. And with that, I'm going to get out of the rain and bid you a terrific day. Thanks. I'll see you next time. There's a bag of, looks like fish underneath the tire. Under the car.